Dan Richard Cole, the Sheriff, the Polar Bear. 340 appearances for Leicester and still more to come. 118 England caps, 2-time British and Irish Lion. But you have some news, mate.
Yes, Ben. I have decided at the end of this season I will be retiring from rugby.
Well done. It's out there. It's you've made the plunge. The question is, Coley, why now, mate? What's made you come to the decision?
There are lots of things. I wouldn't say it's been an easy decision. I've been an RN for a while, which is probably why it's taken so long. It's coming out now. But I think it's the right decision. I think where I am physically as a player, mentally, I think it's accumulation of lots of things. I think the past couple of years I've probably thought about retiring, but last year, 2 years ago was really tough. This year's been good, but I think with the club changing, Diawara's, yourself going, Julio Montoya going, basically two blokes I speak to in the change room. There's a bit of a changing of things at Leicester. Me, myself, I'm playing less and less. I think as you get older, I was thinking earlier, it's a bit like, as you get older, it's a bit like drinking. So like, you love drinking, don't like the hangover. And as you get older, the hangover lasts for longer. And like playing, love playing, but I think like just the physical aches from the game and stuff get harder and harder to get over. And it's the balance of loving the game, but also not actually being able to turn your head for the next 2 days and not being grumpy because you're tired and sore and that kind of stuff. So there's an accumulation of those things. I'm also 38. I've got a fair few miles on the clock. And I sort of, for me, there's not much more. I physically say on the decline, so therefore you kind of, throughout my career, it's kind of been learning stuff or pushing myself physically or learning stuff mentally. Whereas I think now you're sort of on the decline, and so it's the right time to step away. And I said before, what I've said to you probably before, I think it's, I want to walk away, I want to retire with people thinking that I'm shit, not actually knowing that I am.
I love your analogy of that, Coley. I really do. But I think when this year particular, when you look as a whole, as you mentioned there, Coley, with the amount of change that Leicester have had over the years, with the fact that players are leaving and moving on or retiring and everything like that, then you just know when you know. And I guess that is the question. You've said you've taken a while to get to this decision, but like, was there a moment that you thought, okay, that's it? Or was it very much similar to like myself or other people that kind of just say, it's not, you don't roll out of bed and suddenly spring on you. It's just, you just get this feeling?
Well, I think probably last couple of years it's been, as you get older and you play less, you're a bit like, it's coming. And I think like end of last year, I was probably seriously thinking about it. Just because also you want to be of value to the team. And I think like last year we finished 8th or 8th in the league, and you just kind of like, you're not adding, you're not really contributing the way you want to. And I think this year, like right now, actually, the end of the season, you're potentially in the top 4. You're playing games of rugby that matter, and the sun's out, and you feel great. But I also have to remember that in December, January, February, it's quite a grind, and pre-season can be tough, and it's that kind of stuff. So right now, you feel brilliant. I could go forever, but this is a month or two of the season. It's the rest of the grind getting there. And yeah, you just look around the change room. I think change room's changed, which is a natural evolution. And when we came in, there was old guys and that kind of stuff. And you just, you also don't want to be a sort of the old man burden on the team in the change room, sort of, back in my day, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I think there was no one moment, but it's just been thinking of me, and probably also my, I think that a lot of news, right, I'm going to get a bit philosophical here maybe, but news is just news and information and stuff, but it's how you interpret that. And I think, say 5 years ago or 6 years ago when Leicester got a new coach, you kind of think, that's exciting, I can get behind that, something to buy into. Whereas now probably that's gone a bit, as in like, I'm probably too old. It might take a year or two. Like this year with Checker is like, excitement, we've got 1 year, we'll go for it flat out, a load of us. Whereas then it's kind of like, you're looking at it, you're like, it's 1 or 2 years. There's a lot of young guys in the team who take it forward, and you kind of look at it slightly negatively. You're thinking about like, once upon a time, training, you got excited for contact and banging each other, whereas now it's a bit like, oh, this hurts and that, and everything that just, it's where you interpret the news. And I think probably especially over the past 3 or 4 months, I've probably been interpreting it in my own head negatively, which has been stacking towards a case for retirement. So therefore, instead of being not negative around the guys, because I'm not trying to be negative around the guys, but you know what I mean? Like you just build up and you think like, if I'm thinking this way, it's time.
Absolutely, mate. And you're right. And I think, you can kind of try and convince yourself that you can do a bit longer. You can try and have these conversations in your mind where you're like, no, I can do this and I can still add, I can do that. But then it's just like, do I really want to?
The easy choice would be to carry on playing for another year, because you kind of go, I can do it, I'm all right. But then like, you're also looking at the end of your own career, and it's like you either walk out the front door or get booted out the back door, whether you're injured or like you're crap, there's no contract. So like, at least you can do it on your terms. And I think, it's one of those things where it's just, you're going to have to do it at some point. And I think with Leicester, with the club, with the players around me, it's the right time to do it. And, the easy thing would be to carry on playing but then you kind of like don't want to be in a year's time going like, why did I do a year too much? Or why have I been a negative presence? Or why have I done this? Like, the time is right, and that's now.
Well, when I announced my retirement a while back, you very kindly got some video messages together from the world of rugby, and I've returned the favour, Coley.
Thank you.
So let's hear what people had to say.
What's up, the real DC?
DC, my main man. Hey, brother.
DC, get here. DC, mate, just want to say congratulations on an unbelievable career, bro.
It's been an absolute pleasure to play alongside you. A good laugh to play against you.
Congratulations on an amazing career, bro. You've done it all.
How you've managed to last at the top level for so long is testament to yourself and how you've kept yourself and the quality that you've got.
Grateful to be able to play against you, I think, a couple of years back.
I want to wish you all the very best. Congratulations on a wonderful career for Harlequins and England as well.
You've been an amazing teammate, a great competitor, and I've loved my time battling out with you, playing against you and getting to know you. What an incredible 9 you have been for club and country.
When that started, everyone went DC. I thought, yeah, there's something going on here, isn't there? And I thought, this is gold. I've been done here. Yeah.
For a second, I thought I was going to get away with it, but then Nige has to announce for Harlequins. Up till that point, mate, there was an element where I got away with that.
Oh, yeah. Well, DC did. I was like, no one knows me as DC. Are you sure I did someone else's? Oh, yes, you have. Brilliant, yeah.
It's also when you got the everyone that's basically was a back.
Yeah.
Saying DC, great career, bro.
Yeah. I don't even know who I am.
I love it. Did you buy that for a little bit or not?
No, because I was, I didn't, but it's like DC, I thought, well, that's throwing me off. But the fact that like, they're all there, I'm like, not many front row forwards here, and I'm like, I don't think any of these know who I am. Literally, like, they're probably like Dane Coles or someone like that. Be the, so that's what I, thank you, that's given me a good laugh.
Yeah, well, do not fear. We do have some messages, but we thought that would be great banter, and turns out
it was.
It was. How have the last few months been, mate? And what do you want them to look like once you finish? Like, do you just totally step away for a while and just take it all in?
Obviously, we've got stuff like you have your regular day job at the club to get on with and commit to, which has been great. But I say, looking ahead to the future, I say at some days I'm sort of like, I could do this for another year. Other days I'm like, I can't. And I think, to be fair, the club have been brilliant. I say we sort of negotiate. I sort of let them know I may not be carrying on. About 6 months ago, but we agreed a contract just in case, and there's been no pressure from the club at all to make a decision. And I sort of probably hid behind the fact that we didn't have a coach for next year to sort of try and work out my feelings and that kind of stuff. But yeah, they've been brilliant. I think, the next, obviously we still have the rest of this season to play, hopefully for as long as possible. That'd be nice. But yeah, after that, I don't know, I'll take some time out. Obviously rugby is what we know. I look forward to watching it and being a participant that way. I need a few fix-ups on the old body. Like I need my elbow straightened for one. And then, we'll go from there. I think, it's, I'm sort of, part of me as well is looking forward to that. Just probably a few months or a couple of weeks of just not being... There's an inherent stress, I think, to your rugby career. Like, everything you eat, you're kind of like, is this going to affect... Nothing's neutral, as a wise man once told me. And it's like everything you eat or drink, or you play with your kids in the garden, or you go for a dog walk, it's like, oh my God, is this going to detract from my performance and training? Is this going to do this? It's going to be time me out. If you stay up too late, it's everything you do is related back to that rugby. And I think probably for a week or two or a month or so, it's going to be not like that. And it'll probably still have, still be in the back of your mind, but you can actually, I don't know, that sort of stress in some regards will hopefully disappear. It probably won't, because I'm a man of routine and habit. But yeah, we'll see. And I think, I haven't got anything planned out, but obviously sometimes the best laid plans can just blow up. So we'll see.
Coley, what happens if like a mega club suddenly realises your retirement? So therefore, essentially, you are still available. Like, you're retired, but the season's not over, and they put an offer in front of you.
Well, put it this way, Ben. I reckon within about 2 weeks, I'm either going to be 140 kilos or 110 kilos. So I'm not going to be in playing state. So that's what I think I've got to do as well. Is as soon as I finish, I've got to basically either slim down so I can't play tight head, or just get so big that I can't run. Either which way, no one will want me to play rugby anymore.
I see the Barbars have announced some of the Irish players. They're going to be playing against Africa in Cape Town. Keen Coley, will you answer a Barbars call?
I don't think I'm a traditional Barbars player, Ben. I would be honoured if they did ask. This is not a plea to go there, because they probably won't pick me and I'll look foolish. Yes, no, I don't know. I think finishing my career in a Leicester shirt would be apt. The Barbars would be a great honour, but I'm not, again, it's not something either which way, I'm content with my career, put it that way.
Right. Now, Coley, obviously my joke, my Ashton Kutcher in me, paid off for a short while, but we have actually got some video messages. So pick a number between 1 and 15, please.
3.
Coley, how are you, mate? Just a quick message to say huge congratulations, mate, on what's been a ridiculously good career, an unbelievable career. You've achieved so much. It doesn't need me to tell you that, but I've loved every second of playing alongside you. Hated playing against you. I've loved hearing you chirp off at referees every weekend. I'm sure you're going to miss that. But you'll be missed, mate. You'll be missed massively. You already are. And huge good luck with what's next. You're a podcast superstar. And yeah, mate, I hope you're very, very proud of everything you've achieved, because everyone, all your family, all your mates are very, very proud of you. So yeah, all the best, mate. And I'm sure you're hating every single one of these messages.
It's very kind of him to say. I also did think about myself. Thank you, Jamie George. I did think that, like, your highlight reel, when they put together your highlight reel, there's all these tries you've scored. I'm like, mine's going to be like clap scrum, moaning at a referee, flopping over a goal line from half a yard away. I'm basically going to be remembered for people who look at my highlight career and go, how the fuck did he play rugby? What, you know what I mean? It's going to be like, oh, what did he bring? And I'll be like, cool. But those that know, obviously know, like Jamie does.
Coley, don't do yourself a disservice there, mate. You are a Grand Slam winning try scorer.
Ultimately, yeah, France did see me scoring at that point. They gave it the ghost because they thought if he can score, we're fucked. And it worked.
Right, pick another one.
5.
Hello, Sheriff. Congratulations on an unbelievable career, mate. It's been a pleasure to cross paths with you and played alongside you. Not so much to play against you, that's for sure. The master of the dark arts. Probably could name a book after you, probably. The Dark Coley Arts. Sounds pretty good, to be fair. Yeah, as usual, wish you all the best in your next chapter, mate. And hopefully see you soon and cross paths soon.
What a man. Tibbs. I reckon he's the best footballer I reckon I've ever played with. And he's a good bloke as well. Yeah.
He's that skillful, isn't he? Would you say he's one of those guys, Coley, when you think about Lions tours and getting to know people from other nations, like, I know that how well you got on. Is he one of those guys that you just have that bond with and forever will?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's, one of those blokes that when you meet and pick it up randomly every 4 years or 8 years, you get on well. And I say you just, he's one of those blokes that if he'd been born in Leicester, he'd be like a Leicester legend and probably you got really well. You know what I mean? It's just one of those, but because you got the Welsh rivalry, England, Wales, and because he's from there, you kind of build up this rivalry in your head and this dislike of each other. But actually, when you get to know him, you're like, you're just born in different parts of the country or two countries. But yeah, no, it's great. It's been great to get to know guys like Tips and yeah.
Time for another one.
9. There we go.
Coley in sunny Bristol, just finished con games, so it's quite fitting I'm sending you this message because I hope you never have to do any con games ever again. Not that you've done them anyway. Mate, I'll keep this as short as I can. What a legend of the game. I'd say probably first name on the team sheet for many a year. And as you've got older, you've probably got better, like a fine wine. So, yeah, as I said, I'll keep it short and sweet, mate. Hopefully catch up soon, but what a career. Taught me so much, and I'll forever be in debt to you. Top man, see you soon, you miserable bastard.
Oh, it's a nice message.
Coley, who are you going to be miserable with now then?
I know, this is the thing. That's what I have to realise, that like I have to pick my battles. Like now there's only 2 people in change room I go to, and as you both fucked off, then I've got no one. So that's ultimately made my decision for me. But yeah, no, I Genge, what a guy. I am, he's one of those blokes that he says, I taught him a lot. You didn't, you just played with. And I say, one day I'll probably try and take credit for his career, but I can't. And he's a great guy, and it's been a pleasure to play and be captained by him. Leicester win the league in 2022. You wouldn't probably thought that when he joined the club and when the club was going through such bad times. But saying that, I think that's probably one of the best years of my career. I think some of the best parts of my career, the highlights have come after real lows. You know what I mean? And I think that's probably, when I look back at my career, like people that say I loved every minute. I don't think I did love every minute because there's been some real shit times. But you appreciate on the whole your entire career because the lows actually made you appreciate the highs. It's like 2022. We almost got relegated 3 years before, whatever it was. The World Cup, winning the Grand Slam in 2016 after World Cup 2015, and similar with one of my favourite probably England games was that Argentina game at 2023 World Cup when we just lost to Fiji 3 weeks before and had been written off entirely in the Six Nations and the warm game. So, it's always like, I think the highs have always come after lows, and yeah, appreciate it.
If you could sum like the best game you've played in, that probably would also equal probably your best moment, what is that?
There are 2 that stand out. The Premiership Final 2022. I don't think I played well, but being part of a team that took its chances and was coached, and it's probably that year, again, I would say it's probably one of the only times in my Leicester career we probably really outperformed the strength of the squad. We were almost stronger than some of its parts. I think previous years we had such brilliant squads. We won the league, whatever it was, 3 times, reached finals and stuff. But you look at our squads, we probably should have dominated Europe in some regards. But, went through obviously a real barren patch. But that 22 final, that season in general, I think it was probably one of the only times in my career we actually fully outperformed the players we had. We ended up having really good players, don't get me wrong. But, going into that final, we had a perfect game plan. We had blokes that would stay in the fight, like your Montoyas, Fordies, even your Callum Greens as well, those kind of guys that just stuck at it, would stay in the fight, stay in the dark moments. Then, we took our chances when we did. So that, yeah, and I say probably England game, there's been a few, but Argentina again, I think. Probably recency bias, of course, but I think just going into that World Cup, we were all written off. But I think definitely when we got to Le Touquet in that camp, everything just shifted. We almost like beforehand, we lost to Fiji, I think we lost to Wales, beat Wales at home, we lost to Ireland quite heavily, and everyone wrote us off and getting stuck into us. And I think even the camps, even though we worked hard, there was a bit of players coming and going and stuff. But as soon as the squad was announced, we got to Le Touquet, I don't know, just like it felt like a switch flicked, especially in a lot of the veteran players and the rest of the squad, and we just pulled together in that game in front of that atmosphere. I remember sitting together the night before the Argentina game, watching the opening ceremony, and they butchered the anthems, but the game, and just we spoke about as a squad about how like magic those times in your career are and being in that place. And I think just that build up there, as I playing that game and being against it, losing a man after 3 minutes, and being on the same field as George Ford, the maestro dominating that point, just being part of that, they're probably the moments that you are most proud of, and that's probably my favourite game.
And are those the moments you'll miss, Coley, in terms of a bit of adversity and then coming through the other side?
Yeah, I think like as humans, as players, you're supposed to be challenged, and it's how you react to the adversity. And I said before, like I'm happy for going through the adversity in my career. Obviously not at the time, but I think you learn more about yourself and your teammates, and not only as a rugby player, as a person in those dark times, whether it's as much as a fitness session and you've hit the bottom and you've got to just keep going, and you've got to keep going and keep going. At some point it gets better. You're playing, like I remember we played the year we almost got relegated. We lost to Northampton at home. I think we then we had a week's break, played Exeter at home, lost again, and then went to Newcastle and won. But I remember seeing that change with Northampton and thought, we're done. Like, you're trying so hard and you lose, but you keep going, you survive, and then, you keep working hard and things will come good. And yes, you need help, you need teammates, you need coaching and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think the highs have been accumulation after 2015, 2016, when that Grand Slam. It's the only Grand Slam I've won, but like 2015, we had a stinker, we got written off, but that squad then went together, pulled together and won a Grand Slam. So, they're the proudest moments. And you'll definitely miss them, because I think I kind of hope that normal life's not as up and down as that. But if it is, you kind of hope that the moments in your career of, I say, keep going, of going through adversity, you'll take into real everyday life.
Time for another video message, Coley. Choose a number, please.
1.
Good choice.
All right, fuckers.
Are you actually live?
Yeah, he's live.
How are you, boys?
I'm good.
Did you think it was a recording?
Well, but the fact I picked number 1 as well.
Yeah, you did pick number 1. But given the huge news, mate, we had to get Marler on. He had to be part of your retirement announcement. And be part of this conversation, because Pratt 1 retired, Pratt 2 retired, and now Pratt 3 is retiring. We're just waiting for Pratt 4, which is George Ford for the listeners.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it, lads. I'll be honest, Lenny, when I heard of you retiring, I was gutted. I was like, this is a sad, sad day. It's all coming to an end. The generation is just gone. And then I went, fucking hell, hang on, Coley's still going. I went, how have me and you gone before Coley? And then when I found out, when they told me that you're going to retire, Coley, I genuinely got a little bit sad. I was like, it was a mix of, oh no, it is actually the end now. And also like, fucking hell, this is 5 years too late. No, mate, honestly, I have loved every minute of playing with you, mate. Obviously, more so getting to know you off the field, and the friendship I've made with you would just be with me for the rest of my life. But the moments on the field have just been mega, and you've been a big part of my career. And I just feel lucky and privileged to have played a part in yours. Because fucking hell, we've had some good times, haven't we? We've had some really shit times. And in those times, we've often had the most fun. But the good times we've had, they're just amazing. I'll always remember that moment where we came off the field together at the 2023 semi-final, and we were winning. And we came off, sat down, both on the bench, and you slapped my knee. I know it sounds silly, I think you just slapped my knee, and it was a moment for me that was like, God, we did all right. But it was like it was more than just we did all right in that moment. It was more of a, we've done all right. We've had a good innings here. And yeah, I know that sounds silly and small, but it's big and important to me, and it meant a lot to me. And I've just loved every moment of playing with you, Coley, and what an unbelievable career that you've had, winning fucking near on everything, and just well done, mate. Absolutely well done.
Thank you, Joe. No, the pleasure's been all mine playing with you. No, I say I'll remember that coming off that field in the semi-final. Us two having a massive hug. George Martin awkwardly trying to join in it.
Fuck off, George.
Yeah,
just fuck off.
And then just sat on the bench, and I think it's I think I've loved playing with you, competing against you. I say as a friend off the field, I think I've learned a lot from you. Because I think I'm naturally a reserved person. You're the other way, but I think I've learned to be able to speak my mind, and it's all right saying no and that kind of stuff that you do. And I think we share similar values, whether it's through rugby or off the field. And I think that's what's bonded us. And I'm very grateful to have a man like you in my life, Joe, and played with you and been through stuff with you. And again, like I say, some of the darkest times are actually some of the ones we get the best laughs out of. So and I've had someone there with me in those moments, like yourself, like in World Cup conditioning camps. I remember one in one in the Lensbury, another one in Italy, where we'd be running alongside each other. It's just like, just keep going. You know what I mean? And we're at the back, we're dying, but it's just like we just help and get each other through. And I think that's you need people like that in your life, and I'm glad I've got you, Joe. So thank you.
Do you two remember the first time you met?
I came into camp in 2010. When
you were hiding under the stairs at one point with your Champions League final haircut, weren't you, I think? And
it's decent.
Shook hands.
That was a decent cut, mate, especially look at the state of it now. Do you know what I mean? Fucking hell. You blow and it falls off.
Is that why you've closed the window? But yeah, that was the first time.
It was early friction to begin with, wasn't it? Because you took exception to me coming on the scene and wearing 6 studded boots. You're like, who's this prop who's wearing 6 studded boots and doesn't give a shit about scrummaging? He's got his hair dyed fucking God knows what. This isn't the traditional values of a front rower. Fuck him and the horse he's ridden in on.
But Joe, to be fair to you, you did wear 6 stud boots and you played in a pack that didn't really value scrummaging. But you, the reason Quins have won the league twice is because of your scrum, and the stuff like you've done and Lou said, and I say your evolution from going from running them in from 50 yards for Isha, who we used to play for, to now being one of the world's best scrummagers. There you go.
That was like that was a weird backhanded compliment, but also a roundabout way of saying I told you so. That's what you're saying to me. I told you so. You should have worn the fucking 8 studs earlier, you prat. Lenny, do you remember the first time, like, me and Coley sort of bonded?
I'm trying to think. I was trying to think when I asked, to be honest with you, because obviously we did 20s together, didn't we, Hunch? So
yeah,
I already knew you as a character and as a person. And then I suppose with you guys, you kind of have to kick it off a little bit anyway from the start, but then equally you're scrummaging against each other in training all the time, you're playing against each other, loose head, tight heads and all that. But I would ask, like, do you think your respect for each other almost grows naturally because you're in a position where you're actually locking horns against each other? Like I can go against another 9, but I only see him at scrum. Like you don't have that, I don't know, like that macho, like, I don't know, like you just don't have that, like we don't as in certain positions,
sort of
but
animalistic state of just outfitting each other in that 1-on-1, 8-on-8 moment.
Absolutely. Do you think that's almost built your relationship?
It definitely played a part because we both knew the pain you have to go through to be any good at it, and the strength that it requires to be good in our position. And there was definitely, for me anyway, it was definitely that mutual respect of fucking hell, he's really good at this. And I always really, really struggled twofold playing against you, Coley, because you were my mate and I'd never really got to grips with playing against you lot as mates. I just couldn't get my head around it. I was like, oh God, I don't know how to do this thing. And the fact that you never allowed a gentleman's agreement was just bizarre, but also completely understandable, because I think gentlemen's agreements are technically match fixing, so don't worry about it. And then it was also because you were so good. I was like, I fucking hate playing against this bloke. You eventually brought out the best in me, because I had to be really good to try and get one up on you. But before that, I just tried all ways I could to cheat and deck out of a scrum, because I went, if I go full on head with Coley here now, I'm losing 9 times out of 10. But I think it definitely played its part for me anyway, that the respect I had for you, knowing how hard it was and how good you were at it.
When I played against Joe, I had to go hard because you were really good. So, and although we're mates, I couldn't deal with being lifted out of scrum, or I would never live that down. So therefore I had to go hard, because I prefer to go hard and you be annoyed at me than be eternally in your pocket. So, yeah. But, I say, that's what I think, go back to Len's point about bonding. I think we know each other. It's been really hard, but it's also the fact that in scrum sessions or running sessions and stuff, the fact that the bloke opposite you doesn't quit. I'm going against Marler and he's going to keep coming, you know what I mean? And that's what I think where you end up bonding, is the fact that you share those, yes, hard work and you're working hard and it's tough for me, it's tough for him, but the fact that you keep going. And I think that's what, a lot of people opt out, and I think that's what stops people probably getting from, doing what Joe's done in his career and that kind of stuff, because you give up when it gets tough. And I think, Joe's one bloke that never did. And yeah, as he brought out the better, brought out more in me. So
you could argue Coley actually gave up 3 times. I gave up more than most.
Well, yeah, you always came back though. Well, you did twice.
How would you epitomise Coley as he walks away from the game? How would you sum him up in terms of his contribute to the game, but equally just as a person?
The tough one is, everything I say now, Coley's going to feel incredibly uncomfortable about any sort of praise. But I sit here going, fuck it. Tough. You're getting it. So you can sit here and listen. You, embodied to the very end, and you still got, how many? You got a couple of games left, potentially. You've embodied the front row union, what it is and the importance of a front rower for your entire career, mate. You've gone with these old school values of what a prop is to then these new age props coming in and trying to change the game and carrying the ball fucking 20 times a game, making 40 tackles, hitting all this lot. And you've just dusted them all off, left, right and centre. You're you can do all your fancy shit, do what you want, but you've still got to come in and scrummage against me. And the way you've gone about it, the belligerent nature in which you've approached it, the reluctance to not wear any other boot apart from a black Mizuno. That pair that you've got now is probably still 6 or 7 years old. The sacrifices that you've made in order to be one of the best props to have ever played the game, not just in England, but in the history of the game, to have played at the top level for as long as you did, and have as many setbacks as you did. For someone to have the setback and have the left out in the cold after 2019, to then come back and have that sort of retribution moment in 2023, and to have the strength of character to do that, there's not many that would have been able to do it, mate. And I've just admired you both on and off the field for the person you are, the rugby player you've been. And yeah, you've always been that sort of standard bearer for a prop, and you should still continue to be held as that standard bearer for for props coming through, because that's a big part of what makes our game unique. You know, that we do have scrums, that we do have props, that we do have roles for people that are just there to fucking scrum and run away from the ball. Although I did enjoy that one where you got was it against Quins, actually? You got that ball and then he booted it into the stands again. Really, really good. I like that. You see, you do have the skills, Coley. You're one of the best blokes I've ever played with, and it's a sad, sad day knowing that you're not going to be on a field annoying the fuck out of everyone anymore. It is sad. I didn't think I would get like really sad about it, but it is sort of... I don't know, mate. I love you. You've been fucking brilliant. I've loved playing with you. And you need to accept all the plaudits that are going to come your way, mate. I know you'll be uncomfortable, but you should have been shitter at rugby then, shouldn't you? It's your own
that is so
fault.
true. It's his own fault for being such a legend, and that's the thing, Marler, as well. It's worldwide. Like to play prop, to do what you've done for so long, Coley, and
he's had a
resilience,
neck op.
And he's had a neck op, but like, you know, just everything you bring, mate. Don't ever underestimate how much you added to a team, and just your resilience, mate. Like you don't miss sessions, you don't miss anything. Like, it's incredible what you've done when you read out all those appearances and how much you've given to the game.
Yeah, do you know why, though? Do you know why he never missed a session? Because he never missed a session because that would lose the ability for him to slag off everyone else who was missing a session. He should have missed loads of sessions. He should have rested. He should have had his load managed, and he should have been monitored, particularly in the last few years. But he refused, just so he could turn round with a smug smile on his face and say, "Oh, look at you sitting on the side fucking shirking work. Look at you, shirk." That's what I love. Yeah.
Oh, it's so true. Hunch, that's a lovely tribute to Coley, and rightly so. And you're right, Marler. Like, he's going to get plenty of them, and it's uncomfortable, but enjoy it because you deserve it, mate. One thing I will ask though, Hunch, before you go, mate, is now that both Coley and I are stepping into retirement very shortly, and you have been retired longer than us.
Oh yeah.
What's advice you got for us?
You've both done all right so far because you're not retiring just before Christmas. That, like, if you were, I would have said no. See past Christmas. Get the Christmas pay packet first, so you're fine. Have a job maybe ready to walk into. I mean, this podcast is fucking flying for you lot, so you're sort of all right there. I'm trying to give a little bit of serious advice. I think I struggled after like the honeymoon period, like the 2 or 3 months. Where you're like, oh, it's fine, great, yeah, no, I'm fine, everything cool, it's all good, yeah, I'm so glad it's over. And then you go, hang on, fuck, what am I going to do with my life? Where's the schedule? Where's there's someone telling me what I need to wear today? Where's where I need to be? Why am I not seeing the same faces? And I was like, fuck, I need to get some structure back in my life. So that bit of serious advice is just make sure you got a little bit of structure, lads, because we've been institutionalised for the last 20 odd years. And the other one is like either reduce your calories or find a sport that'll burn or off, because I thought I'd be sweet. I thought I'd be sweet, just crack it on. But the 133 that hits the scale, that comes up on the scales at the minute, tells me that I really misread the calorie situation in my retirement. So just prepare yourselves. And I'm more worried about you, Len, than I am Coley. But just both of you, be careful. All right.
Well, we can have a reunion and waddle around paddle court, can't we?
Oh, I can't wait. Look, boys, I'm sweating my tits off because I had to close the thing to give you stands, but I've got to go because I'm in the real world and you two are just in this fucking rugby bubble, so you both need to grow up. All right. Love you, boys.
See you, mate.
I live too,
See you,
Joe.
Joe. Coley, how good was that? And also, you picked one.
No, it's brilliant. So Joe was saying, he's it means a lot to me. I think we've been through stuff together, and I think he's like everyone says he's a character, etc., etc. But deep down, he really loves rugby. He cares about the game, and I think he's opened up a lot of doors for this podcast. But I think for people to have an opinion, to people express their opinion, to people say when things aren't right, and I've learned a lot off him just through sheer osmosis and going about him, and I'm proud to have him as a very good friend, and I think I've learned a lot from him just on and off the field, and I'm very grateful to have him in my career and in my life.
Absolutely. We got one last Premiership game left on Saturday at home against Newcastle, potentially one more at home after that, and then potentially a game at Twickenham. Will you try and take it all in, or have you subconsciously been doing that prior to the announcement?
To be honest, Ben, I think since COVID, that has shifted my perspective on like rugby, fans taking it in. And I think, honestly, this podcast has shifted my perspective, and like just meeting people after games, we go up to Sale and there's people with full of rugby signs and stuff. And, you go elsewhere in the country and people say, listen to the podcast. It's like we're in Bath the other day and they've got people coming to the street telling you this. And, it's been a real nice, I'm glad, I love the podcast, glad we've done it. But I think having it like this past year has really opened my eyes to the fans. Not so much the fans, but like the appreciation for the game and the podcast, and I think you and me, and so I'd like to say so. Thank you for that. And there's just bits and bobs. We've had people come up to us, like one of the live shows. Someone came up to me and said, "I was in the car. It was just about 15 years ago. I was driving down Welford Road. I was with my son. We looked in the rearview mirror. Said that was you behind us. I didn't want to embarrass my son, but I said if we stop at the next set of lights, I'm going to wave at him." And he did, and apparently I waved back. And he's telling me this story 15 years later, and it's just those tiny interactions. Like another one, I was walking down the street, and a man came up to the other day. He's, "Oh, you just had neck surgery, so you couldn't talk, but my daughter gave you a band," and you're kind of like, this was 2014 or something. And you're kind of like these moments that you have, that probably the interactions you have with people that actually mean a lot more to people. With us, I probably remember bad ones, but unfortunately, I don't remember the good ones. But like, there's so many people out there that have these moments and actually remember them 10, 15 years later, and you remember what an impact you have on people. I think that's something that this podcast has really, and also a bit getting old, but has really brought home to me. And I've been sort of, and with the retirement in the back of my mind for probably, a year or definitely the past 6 months, it's made me appreciate and try to, soak it up a little bit more. It's like those moments in the change room after the game. Like it was summed up the other day when, we first came to the team, it was like, everyone in the change room used to, I think we had corporate work, so people used to hang around for about an hour anyway to avoid that. But you just had a beer together, a conversation, a chat, and it's that one moment in the week where you could just sort of relax and, either won and that the pressure was off because that was the expectation to win, or you lost and you sort of got your head around it. But like now, the other day, it's like 30 minutes after the final whistle, you and me are still in the change room, like getting changed, basically with the boots off, still on a kit, and everyone else is emptied out, and there's literally you and me. And it's, those bits and bobs that you actually at the time you sort of appreciate, and afterwards you appreciate, and you self-reflect and you think about it and you look at it, and but it all goes into it. But I think I have probably been this past year taking it in, and yes, hopefully there's a couple more games in us. But again, I was sort of without knowing I've been sort of taking a lot more in than I would have done previously.
What's next, Coley? Like, do you want to be a scrum coach? Would you like to do something like that? Or is it a case of getting your rugby 8s scrum off the ground?
If I can get a sponsor, we're going worldwide. What's next for me? I'd love to stay involved in rugby. I don't think coaching, I think coaching is a hard pursuit, and the effort you have to put in and the hours you have to put in to be a good one is a lot more than playing. And one of the reasons probably finishing playing is to be with my children a bit more. So probably not coaching, but I'd love to stay involved in the club in some way or another, or in rugby in general, because it's what you know. there is also a wider world out there. So maybe I will explore things there, but probably it'll take a few weeks to decompress, and we'll still be doing this podcast, which has been great learning experience in that regard, and obviously big summer of rugby coming up, so I look forward to that. But it's going to be, I don't have anything, I don't have a 9 to 5 to walk into, so I need to work on that. But I'm part of me is sort of looking forward to the freedom, and then as Joe said earlier, it's probably going to be a month or two, and then it's going to be like panic, and I'll be going on 6 a.m. walks with the dog for 5 hours at a time.
Burn off those calories, mate. Right, I reckon we've got time for 2 more video messages. So 2 more numbers, please, Coley.
2 and 4.
DRC, congratulations, mate, on an absolute stunning career. I remember the academy days very well. I remember us playing age group, together, and sort of went, step by step, mate, didn't we? Went through our little pathways. I ended up stepping closer to you and moving to the front row, and mate, your career has been incredible, and it's been built on absolute hard work and dedication. You've worked so hard, and you've achieved so much through your bloody mindedness, because you are stubborn when you want to be, and your outright effort and your desire to work incredibly hard, and to never go missing. Like I always say, like the best players you play with, the guys you in tough times you call upon, and you're one of them. You are an incredible player, incredible bloke, and father. And I wish you all the best in retirement. I will miss not seeing your lovely shiny bald head running around the field. Not running around the field anymore. And look forward to catching a retirement and having a few beers, mate. So enjoy the praise, enjoy the moment. I know you'll love it. Lap it up. Enjoy it all. You fully deserve it. Well done on a magnificent career, mate. Cheers. Bye.
It's very kind words from your brother. He says I worked hard, but he worked hard. And I think playing, having played alongside Tom, you work hard for each other, and I think you push each other harder. I definitely did, because I saw your brother, like he'd be from the minute crossing the line, full on, flat out, hitting things, and you follow that, and he captained the club, and I stood by him, and if I ever had an issue, I spoke to him, and he sorted it. But yes, I am stubborn, but that hard work is because you do it because you're mates, and you get bonds like that with your brother, and you push each other harder. And I think that's one thing that rugby has, those bonds, you build them. And I think they get revealed on the rugby pitch. I think some of them probably within certain players, maybe you're born with it, maybe you're not, but I think rugby really reveals those traits and those character things, and that's what you get drawn to when you see blokes in their, tough periods of whether it's life or on the rugby field. That's when those bonds are really formed. And so similar with your brother is, a lot of what I did, we came through together. We fed off each other and pushed each other, and I've piggybacked on so many great people, great players around me to get to where I am. I've stood on the shoulders of giants in some regards, as the saying goes, and I appreciate all of my brothers been a massive part of that as well.
Hey Coley, Rory Best here. Just want to wish you all the very best on your retirement, finally going. You've looked the same age for about 20 years, but what a career you've had, mate. It was an absolute pleasure to play alongside you. Loved those times. Didn't particularly like playing against you for Leicester or England, but look, it's cracking career, well done. And I've heard a little rumour you're going into scrum coaching, so remember, it's always and now, and if you do a nice dip with that, it's perfect. Good lad.
Oh, bestie.
Do you want to just for the listeners, just so everyone's aware of the in-joke that Bestie's referring to there with the and now?
Right, it was the 2017 Lions tour to New Zealand. I think we just played, I think we played in Dunedin, and basically the final scrum of the game I got absolutely hoofed, and they got a penalty and won the game. Afterwards I sort of said that we need to coordinate our snap together. So instead of scrummaging 8 individuals, we need scrummagers a pack. So then basically the next week in training, I think the team got picked for the weekend. The sort of then midweek team, it ended up being me, Marler and Bestie, and we sort of spoke about this snap thing. We're going to hit the scrum machine, and Gatlin's like, no, I've got a drill for you. We're like, what? He's like, I've got a drill for you. Right. get engaged, pre-engaged on the scrum machine, so put our shoulders on the scrum machine, get in a pushing position, and snap your hips together. Go, now. And we're like, okay, so we do it, move the machine. He's like, no, you're doing it wrong. Don't move the machine. We're like, what? He's like, don't move the machine. Just snap your hips and go, now. So you got 3 of us just basically shagging this scrum machine in some regards. And we, like, Bestie's going, now. And then I think Marler's got, you know, when like in a classroom when it's deadly quiet and someone just laughs, and like literally Marler's gone, he's sort of let out a little laugh. I've heard it. I've started crying, but saying, and now Bestie's crying. So 3 of us in the machine, and the coach is trying to make us stop, but we've got to keep going because we're laughing so hard at this thing that we can't stop. And yeah, from that point onwards, the 3 of us have just always laughed at that. And now, because it was a ridiculous drill. But I'm glad I did it because it's a moment that will stick with me for the rest of my life.
Quality. Coley, well done, mate. You have been an incredible servant to club and country and for the Lions. I know you'll get an amazing reception at the weekend, and rightly so. And anyone that isn't at the ground that are watching, they'll be clapping at home on their sofas because what you've given to the game is phenomenal. I feel very, very privileged to have shared the field with you so many times. I feel blessed that I've got to run out with you, play alongside you, get to know you, be that guy that I can call upon, lean on when I need picking up, and have a laugh with at any point, and go the highs and lows together. And just well done, mate. Like, you know, I'm fortunate that, you know, we'll continue to see each other, but I know that you'll be missed in around the club by a lot of people. And I think when people think of you, mate, they'll think of someone that just was so determined and committed to trying to be the best they can be every single day, and just went about their job and just did it and performed. And yeah, I feel very fortunate that I've been able to share my career alongside yours, mate. So thank you for all you've given club, country, Lions, and you deserve a huge amount of tributes, which I'm sure will flock in and pour in, and rightly so. So Coley, I know you'll hate it all, but enjoy it, mate, because you deserve it. Well done.
Thank you, Ben. And I say thank you for your kind words. Again, I think, as I say, I've been fortunate to have played with some great players and shared my career on the field with great guys like yourself. And as you say, yeah, I've probably been a sounding board when you think it can't get much worse. Come spend 5 minutes with me and I'll tell you it can. So, you know, I'm glad to pick guys up like that. But yeah, no, just to say, it's been a bit of time. I think it'll take a bit of time to soak in after retirement, and just, you know, probably the achievements that you and I and people we've played with me in our careers. If you let me just be a little bit self-indulgent for 5 minutes or 2 minutes, just need to probably say some thank yous to... The
floor is yours, Coley, so please,
thank you.
Any tributes, time is now, my friend.
Thank you. First of all, family. I think it's there's been a lot of sacrifices made for me to be able to achieve or live my dream in some regards. You know, from my parents taking me to rugby when I was 12, and I think Dad's been to probably 95% of my rugby games across the world, and never once has he offered me any... he's always listened. He's never offered me, told me what I should do or shouldn't do. He's just listened. I think having that sounding board's been brilliant. To Bell for looking after the boys. I've been away on international duty for 10 years chasing that dream. You know, to my children as well, they don't know it, but I think when you have them, you understand all the little things of not being a bad loser, and all the kind of things you try and teach them, you have to live yourself. I think that's probably made, through rugby, it's made me probably a better father in regards to, yeah, trying to look after those. I'd like to thank teammates, support staff, coaches all around, because ultimately that's what makes the game fun, is the bonds you make with people day in, day out. You have so much help, I think, as a player to get you on the field, from video analysis to the chefs to the guy, the kit man, to everything. And those guys fully don't get appreciated enough. And I've been bad, I haven't appreciated them enough. Teammates, you know, you play the game because you want to be part of a team, you want to belong. You build those bonds, and teammates come and go, but I think there's something always, you'll have a connection with each other. Coaches, like, you know, I've had so many scrum coaches, forwards coaches, head coaches. There's probably 2 stick out, which is Richard Cockrell, who taught me what it meant to be a sort of a Leicester player and just being bloody minded, and if you're showing pain, you got to keep going, and, you know, just that thing. And Steve Borthwick, who, you know, I think there's always, I thought I was done after 2015, 2016 England-wise, picked us up, especially with Leicester as well, the clubs that I ever thought was done then. And I think probably the past 10 years, probably due to him inspiring me and being a great coach and helping on off the field. So you've probably got him to blame for the past 10 years of moaning, guys. But, you know, with that, I've had a great career. You know, he picked me for 100 caps at England. I got to go to 2023 World Cup, got to do stuff, won a Premiership, stuff I never thought I'd do. So I must say those two guys have been a big influence on my career massively, along with loads of others. And finally, probably you'd say the fans. Thank you, because I think we probably took for granted pre-COVID. After COVID, you realise that the fans, the club, the fans make the club, fans make the game. And that's, you know, the buzz of running out and people cheering. It won't be replicated. And it's been a real privilege and an honour to play in front of and to represent Leicester and England across the globe. But in front of those people, it's something I think is quite humbling that, you know, we get to play in front of 20,000 every week. I have done for the past X amount of years of my life. And yeah, it's been great. But yeah, so thank you to all those. It's probably people I've missed, tried not to, but I'd just like to say thank you to everyone that's contributed to my career. I say there's been ups, downs, but on reflection, I've loved it. I wouldn't have any other way. And there's so many people I owe it to that I can't ever do enough. And I'm just incredibly grateful for everything I've got and everything I've had. So thank you.
Thank you, Coley. Well done, mate. And thanks for sharing it.
Thank you very much.